Hello everyone, Silent here and welcome back to another episode of Bugrock of the Week. Today we have some very exciting news for the Bedrock Edition and these new 1.16 betas. Specifically, beta 1.16.100.59 has re-enabled the Render Dragon engine for Bedrock Edition. This has a lot of pretty major implications and also allows us to have some very fun times with extremely high render distances, all the way up to 256 chunk render distance. Yeah, that's right, 256 chunks by default. Like vanilla Minecraft, vanilla survival on a Bedrock Edition. This is kind of crazy times. Before we hop into things too quickly, you should know exactly what the Render Dragon is. The Render Dragon is a brand new rendering engine for all of Bedrock Edition. As far as I'm aware, this is going to be rolling out to all Bedrock Edition platforms: PC, Xbox, PlayStation, mobile, Switch, you name it. It should be coming to everything from what I know as of now. This is going to completely overhaul all of rendering for better lighting, frame rates, graphics, you name it. Basically, all devices should see some performance from the Render Dragon. However, the big thing here is if your PC has a 20 series or 30 series NVIDIA graphics card, you will be able to run ray tracing by default with no mods or anything like that, just vanilla gameplay with all kinds of amazing shaders and ray tracing technology. It is honestly quite awesome. If you remember, several months ago, RTX had just released in beta, and NVIDIA basically sponsored every YouTuber on the internet to make a sponsored video promoting RTX, except for me, Sadness Noises. However, RTX has still been in beta and been getting constant updates since then. There's been a ton of different RTX betas. I haven't been covering any of those on this channel because my main computer does not have an RTX graphics card. I'd have to record on my laptop. It's a whole giant pain, so I haven't been covering those. However, there's still been a lot of development done for RTX for the Bedrock Edition, which is awesome. I cannot wait for RTX to officially come out on Bedrock Edition. Them releasing the Render Dragon in this beta is a great step towards that happening. This beta is not capable of RTX quite yet. I don't think there's a much better way to demonstrate the power of the Render Dragon than to load up a fully built-in world. This is truly Bedrock Season 1, and we're just gonna crank the render distance all the way up to 256. I'm recording in 4K right now, and it's probably gonna get a little bit laggy. You'll notice that my minimum render distance is 32 chunks. Normally that's 16 on the regular version of Minecraft, and normally the maximum render distance for me on regular Minecraft is 80 chunks. But you can see that we got 32, 64, 96 chunks, 128, 160, 192, 224, and all the way to 256 chunks. At this point, the game does become a little bit unresponsive. I think I have to actually relog a little bit. I would love to show you some super high render distances. However, you can see the speed at which the chunks are loading. This is only on 96 chunk render distance, and it's only loaded about, 15 or so chunks in front of me. And like, I has good computer. So, yeah, I've been having a lot of issues actually even trying to get the 256 to work, or really any of the higher render distances to work at all. Usually the game just crashes. Again, this is a beta, so, some issues are to be expected, but I would expect mild cooperation sometimes, occasionally from the game. So after quite a bit of testing and playing around in this beta, this appears to be about as far as I can possibly render, which is not actually that far. That's like maybe 60 chunks, maybe? This is definitely a far cry from 256. Like, yeah, it's pretty good, but it's not like breathtaking or anything. I had an idea of just like flying away 256 chunks and loading all the chunks behind me, but as you can see, I can't even leave that area because, none of the chunks actually load. So the beta's mildly broken. The main feature, 256 chunk render distance, doesn't really appear to be working all that well. Sadness Noises. I want to see what the world looks like. It's pretty amazing already on 80 chunk. Like 3 times or 4 times that is going to be insanity. And this is basically what happens every single time I try to leave a world. You just get the loading screen over it, and then you get the background of the world, and absolutely nothing happens. You have to Alt F4. So the beta certainly has some issues. Oh, here we go. I think I may have found a workaround to our issue. A super flat world. This isn't quite going to be as impressive, but I do have it on 256 chunk render distance. I can walk around as far as I can, and then we can look back at it and see just how far it is. So let me go put a pillar at like 0, 0 or something, and then we can actually properly test this out. Okay, I'm actually having some pretty good success with this. So this pillar right here is at exactly 4,096 blocks, which is equal to 256 chunks of distance from 0, 0. If we walk back this way with speed 255, it'll take us a little while to get back to 0, 0, and you can see that we have ourselves a diamond pillar over there. Now, we can't quite see both of the pillars from one spot, and we should be able to see that diamond pillar all the way from the redstone pillar. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go like a bunch of blocks up into the air and just see what this looks like. I mean, I guess this is kind of something. So if we tilt our camera like this, you can see that we have quite a bit of rendering going on over there, but it's like getting cut off by the camera. It's very strange. So you can see that we have many chunks off in that direction. We're at 4,000 blocks right now. We still can't see all the way to 0, 0. But assuming if things worked, this is approximately what you would expect to see going all the way around you. As you can see right now, things are mildly broken because, you know, the beta's pretty broken. All things considered, we have a maximum of functional render distance of about 128 chunks, which is pretty reasonable. It's still about half of 256, but I mean, we're getting there. So as you can see, standing right here, the diamond pillar is all the way over there, exactly 2,060 blocks away. That is a very good amount of distance that you'll be able to see with 128. So just imagine basically double that distance with 256, and you'll be understanding the power of the Render Dragon. Obviously, it's in beta, it's very broken. I've not been doing a very good job of shining a good light on it, but what can I say? I'm cursed to find all of the bugs. If there's a bug in this game, I will find it at one point or another. I'm not entirely sure if it's my PC or if it's just the betas being the betas. However, this is literally as far as it'll go. I'm even trying it on lower render distances like 96 chunks or 60 chunks or whatever, and this is literally as far as it goes in a circle around me. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna reuse some super old footage from the Whispercraft Season 2 World Tour, showing you guys what 80 chunk render distance looks like, because that worked perfectly fine back then. You can really see how far 80 chunks is with that World Tour. So 80 chunks is only 1,284 blocks, and with 256 chunk render distance, you should in theory be able to see 4,096 blocks. So the footage that I'm showing you right now, just imagine that times 4. Insanity! Hopefully they actually fix it so we can, like, you know, use it. Much testing later, I have successfully gotten 96 chunk render distance to work, and as you can see, 96 is pretty far. Again, imagine this 2 or 3 times as far, and that is what the Render Dragon is capable of with 256 chunk render distance. Besides the Render Dragon, there's really only 2 additional features that have been added in the 1.16.100.5.9 or 5.8 betas. First of all, tall crops such as bamboo and sugarcanes will no longer break instantly. So in previous betas, this would break instantly all the way up to sky limit, for example, and that was causing crashes on some devices for some players. So it's been changed back to the normal way of breaking, which is 1 at a time, going all the way up through the entire thing. So as you can see, it's just 1 at a time, and this also applies to the bamboo as well. Just 1 at a time, not all at once. The other change slightly perplexes me, and that is they have actually removed a feature, so you can no longer place signs on end rods, which is a kind of a strange feature. You might be thinking, oh yeah, they removed it because it doesn't make sense for you to be able to place a sign on something that it doesn't connect to physically. but then you're like, oh yeah, you can place signs on other signs, signs on daylight sensors, on slabs. Those clearly are not connected. You can put it on brewing stands, on bells, on pressure plates, on trapdoors, and flick the trapdoors. You can put it on buttons. You can put it on panes and chains and rods. So it doesn't really make any sense to me. Maybe you guys have an idea for it? A mildly disappointing beta today, not gonna lie. I hope it's not my computer that breaks the game. Hopefully it's just the game that's broken. I got a really good computer and I really need this thing, so please don't be the computer. But yeah, hopefully in the future betas they will fix the 256 chunk render distance. I would really love to play around with that. As laggy as it's gonna be, I still really want to play with that. If they do fix it, then of course I'll keep you guys up to date on all the changes in future videos here on the channel. But that's gonna do it for today's episode of Bugrock. Thank you ever so much for watching. I do hope that you have enjoyed. Of course, if you have, make sure to leave a like on the video. It helps out the video and the channel a ton. If you're new here, then make sure to subscribe so you don't miss future videos like this on the channel. And otherwise, I'll see you guys down in the comment section and in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. And then there was silence.